Tell me about the importance of enterprise in the economy.
Well, enterprise is important in a number of ways. If we look at, for example, where most of the net jobs have been created over the last 5 years, what we see from studies from the Kaufman Foundation in the US and the European community is that nearly all net new jobs have been created by firms less than 5 years old. So clearly, particularly as we're coming out of a recession, enterprising small businesses, particularly new ones, are incredibly important to the economy. Also, if we look at where the majority of new innovations in particular areas like information and communication technology, social media, etc., have emerged, they're mainly from new, innovative businesses that are actually changing their sectors through disruptive innovation.
Given that, is there a case then for universities to be drivers for entrepreneurship?
Absolutely. One of the most important things that universities can do, obviously, is that they are generators of knowledge, but at the same time, for example, here at UB, we have 30,000 students. Now, clearly, one of the main issues that you have is that most students go and work for other people, but increasingly what you see in the best institutions in the world, places like MIT, in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and Stanford University, that it's become a natural norm now for students and graduates not to go and work for somebody else, but also to consider working for themselves, for starting their businesses. And in that respect, if you're looking at where the industries of the future are going to come from, it's going to come from graduates starting their businesses, but more importantly by universities creating that culture and supporting those individuals to actually not only start their businesses but grow them successfully.
So in your view then, how would any university develop an enterprising behaviour across its faculties?
It can do it in a number of ways. I think it's about creating that culture to begin with, where people are very comfortable with enterprise or with entrepreneurship as an integral part of their course, be it from nursing to religious studies, to business studies, to engineering, whatever. One of the most interesting examples, you see a lot of this happening in the States where entrepreneurship is embedded within courses. But what I find fascinating is the best example is from Queen's University Belfast, where in 2003 they created a certificate in enterprise that every student, as a result, every student would have to undertake this certificate. So as a result, every student going through Queen's was coming out having experienced some aspect of enterprise. And in doing that, it's not necessarily that they'll use it immediately. Hopefully a significant proportion of individuals will start their businesses, but they may come back to it after they've gained experience working for somebody else, and that can have an incalculable sort of impact on the economy.
So how can universities support the creation of new business?
It can do it in a number of ways. First of all, obviously, universities themselves can set up incubators. There are various examples. Obviously, we have Set Squared here in Bristol, where a group of universities have come together. But also, universities can be vehicles in themselves for encouraging it. One of the most exciting new incubator developments that you see anywhere in the world is the Startup Sauna project run by Aalto University in Finland, which is the new technologically based university in Helsinki. And what's fascinating about that is that they have actually gone out to develop a high growth accelerator program that brings graduates in from Aalto and then pushes them out into places like Silicon Valley to ensure that they get the best start in their businesses. Without Aalto University, without the student society that drove this forward, that wouldn't have happened. So it can show that universities can play a real role in developing this.
So how should business schools then, what should they do to help the growth of local firms in a region like Bristol?
Well, clearly business schools can do a variety of things. For example, they can provide advice on the latest knowledge, particularly in areas such as business modelling, in which businesses can actually look at what they're doing now and analyse to see whether that fits in with the way the environment is changing and the way their business can fit into that. But more importantly, I think, is the issue of skills in two ways. The question is, are we producing students that are managers, or are we producing students that are entrepreneurs? And in fact, what we should be doing is producing students that are both. And it's about giving them those particular skill sets then that can enable them to work within a large organisation, but more importantly also to be an entrepreneur within that large organisation or for starting their own businesses. And the second part about the skills agenda is that clearly as we're coming out of the recession now, businesses are going to be looking to grow, they're going to be looking to internationalise, they're going to be looking to expand their operations. You need skills for that. And if you see all the recent surveys from GE Capital's review of mid-sized businesses, the Federation of Small Businesses, the CBI, they say skills is now #1 on the agenda. Talent management and talent attraction is #1 on the agenda. And again, that's something that business schools could and should be making a major contribution to.